Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about Velma, the new HBO Max animated series that follows the origin story of Velma from the Scooby-Doo franchise. I think a lot of people feel similar to me about this series, and it's this.
Wow, that was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen.
We can also explain the type of reaction I had to this from the series itself. My main issue with this new animated series HBO is putting out, and this is only 2 episodes out of the I don't know how many there is going to be, but they're going to be coming out every Thursday, is they had the opportunity to do such a good job. I mean, generally speaking, like almost every Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo fans have taken issue with quite a few, offshoots of the franchise, but generally they've been pretty wholesome, pretty funny, there's a lot of fun characters. But with this franchise, this series, what they did is they kind of just ruined each individual character. The main character, Velma, which is following her origin story, is so different from the original. And of course, this is an offshoot. It can be different. But this is so far from the Velma everyone's used to. The nerdy girl, the smart girl. And this one, she just came off so not likable at all, where in their original and then the offshoots thereafter, Velma always carries this along of being like nerdy, but still very likable. But in this one, she's not even smart. I mean, she says she copies homework off of other people. So it's really not true to the Velma we know, which is fine. This is an offshoot. But generally speaking, this doesn't even resemble the original Scooby-Doo gang, at least in the first 2 episodes.
Sure. Normally, origin stories are about tall, handsome guys struggling with the burden of being handed even more power. And if they are about girls, it's usually like, hey, what made this hot chick go crazy? So to remedy this, I've decided to finally share the bone-chilling events that drove me to assemble the greatest team of spooky mystery solvers ever. Yeah, it was me, not Fred and his weird sex fan. This is my story, told my way. And it starts with a murder, bitch.
Where is Scooby-Doo? That's what I want to know. I mean, such a large part of that franchise is the dog. I mean, one of the most funny aspects from my childhood was the dog. Where is the dog here? I'm hoping maybe later on in the series he'll be introduced, but I don't see that actually happening. This is such a warped Scooby-Doo. And then generally, I know that they're trying to gear this towards an adult audience. They're trying to be like Family Guy, but this is nothing resembling, an adult comedy. I cannot see adults sitting down like myself and enjoying this animated series. It's not funny. The jokes are pretty immature. They're pretty childish. They don't really make sense. So I think this is mainly geared to teenagers, but at the same time, I couldn't even see teenagers liking this. And as you see online, so many people who are either fans of Scooby-Doo, fans of animated series, and even just young people are having a lot of bad things to say about this series. And it's kind of weird how the first scene, so put this into context, this is following a gang of kids in high school, and the opening starts with cockroaches doing their business and then a nudity scene of high school girls in the locker room. I personally not always a big fan of that. This is for adults. I don't know. It's just a little weird when you put it into context as these are high school students, and it's just not funny. If this is trying to be a comedic series, it's just awful. And if you don't believe me how cringy this opening scene is, let's watch this together.
Ugh. This school sucks.
It's just weird. It's not even funny.
Okay, team shower discussion topic of the day. Have you ever noticed how pilot episodes of TV shows always have more gratuitous sex and nudity than the rest of the series?
Oh my god, I have. So true. That's how we learned what Rachel Brosnahan's boobs look like.
And John Cheadle's butt. Well, I, for one, think it's lame.
Agree. The lame. The lamest.
Oh, I actually kind of love it. Sex sells, and in today's overcrowded market, you need a hug.
These are high school
All
students,
a good show ever needs is good storytelling.
which this one doesn't have.
When Betty and Veronica kissed.
Well, because I was instantly called out as tired in the scene.
No, it's because it was hot.
You can have it both ways.
Oh, no, you can't. Just admit, we're all secretly perverts.
So that's how the show starts, is this scene. While watching the series, I also kind of noticed that they have to rely so much on snark and vulgarity in order to make up for the lack of comedy and funny moments in this series. Constantly, what they're trying to come across as jokes is just snarky comments and just like vulgar statements instead of actually landing and having good writing. I just wonder, like, who exactly, I know some of the people that were on the writing staff, but like, how did this actually go through with the HBO and be like, yeah, we're gonna put this out. Not only are we gonna do like a whole series, we're gonna put it out on a weekly basis. I gotta say though, like, when you look online, people don't think this is a good series. And, you know, you can watch it yourself and see it if it is, but generally speaking, like, all spectrums of people are saying this is an awful show. So I'm wondering, like, where do they think these reoccurring viewers are going to come from? I think people like me who are reviewing the show. But generally speaking, I would say after the first 2 episodes, I can't see people coming back and actually being interested in the storyline. Because in the first episode, especially so, the storyline is all over the place. It's confusing. None of these, you know, components of the story really make sense, where you're wondering, what does this even have to do with a murder case? There's just like a lot of random detail, a lot of random things going on. I guess that's what they think like is comedy, is random stuff happening, but nothing lands and nothing seems logically together. I just think they had such a missed opportunity here. Generally speaking, like, Scooby-Doo series are awesome, but this does not resemble Scooby-Doo. This is basically a completely different show, just using, you know, some attributes like red hair and the outfit and the glasses, but beyond that, it resembles nothing of the Scooby-Doo franchise. And then in the second episode, you just notice that there is this obsession with Freddy's private part and the fact that he's white.
Exactly. I mean, look at this from my perspective, Velma. If you needed money to keep your pregnant girlfriend happy, and then you heard what the Joneses are willing to pay, I'm sure you'd agree it's possible Fred didn't do it.
Fred's a rich white guy with a tiny dong. He did it. Now, excuse me, I have to go find my missing mother.
You didn't mention Fred had a tiny dong.
Oh yeah, real baby carrot. And I'm gonna ride it all the way to victory.
Huh?
And this isn't the only time in the series that this is brought up. This is brought up like almost like it's part of the storyline, especially in the second episode. But even in the first episode, they were alluding to this as well. So it's just a little uncomfortable. But again, it's a comedy. These things can be looked past. It's an adult comedy. It can be crude, whatever. It's just, are these things actually funny? And that's what I'm reviewing. And it's not. But I will give the show one thing. In the first 2 episodes, personally, I found one pretty funny joke. It kind of like made me like feel like, okay, maybe there is hope later on in the series, possibly so. I mean, I don't know. Out of an hour of content, I was only able to find one thing that was kind of clever, kind of funny, kind of culturally relevant.
Stop! No pictures! Unless it's in portrait mode. Oh, God! He looks like Hitler! And not just because we compare everyone to Hitler these days.
But unfortunately, this doesn't cut it. You can't only have one good joke in this type of series. If you're gonna be an adult comedy, you know, when it came to things like Family Guy, like, you know, sometimes their episodes would be a major miss. But generally, when people look at these type of series, you're like, okay, that is a funny series. It's got the humor elements. It's got the culturally relevant elements. But generally, big picture, good writing, good jokes. This one is a dumpster fire. And I see why everyone across the board hates this series. It's just not funny. And that's what I have to hammer down on. It's fine if you're woke and you're doing all this woke stuff. Just at least be funny with it. And unfortunately, I don't think we've even came across a series that's been woke and funny, but it has to be doable at some point. I would hope there would be some good writers who maybe are more woke minded, but they have to exist. You can't continuously be putting out these series that aren't funny, that are just full of woke innuendo. Like, how are these getting the funding? There's so many talented comedics out there where I'm sure there's people who can make an actual good show and not put like a bad name on Scooby-Doo. This is it's just so frustrating how they have taken this and made it something it's not. Like, yeah, that's art, but at least do a good job at it. Like I said, there's a lot of random stuff happening in the show, and they just had to kind of like put things in the show that did not really fit what the intended storyline was. Sort of like this scene.
Try something else. Anything. Quick. Oh, God, my heart. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Did that work?
Yeah.
For some reason, they just want to include a same-sex kiss. If you watch the series, you know this didn't like totally fit into even what was happening. It seems like they're trying to add this into the storyline that these two characters, you know, have feelings towards one another. It's just like a typical thing happening in animated series and even in children's shows now, which this isn't one, but there always has to be a same-sex couple. These are just the sort of things, like if it's natural, if it's like part of the comedic process, okay, but it just seems like it's getting rammed down your throat just for the purposes of like being like an ESG type of thing. Like, you have to have this or else you're not going to get the funding. I really hope that this show can turn around in the next few episodes. The first two, like I said, I'm not a fan of. But what do you guys think? Have you watched the series? Do you like it? Do you agree with me about my comments about the show? Let me know below. But I just really hope they can turn this around, because it just makes me wonder, like, why are like these Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu's, why are they funding these shows that they know are going to be disasters? Or are all these people making the decisions just like so totally gone from what the average person likes? I mean, there was once upon a time when Hollywood and these execs used to make movies that generally everyone could like, no matter what type of person you are, no matter your background, no matter your race, no matter your socioeconomic situation. Like, people, there are just movies that they used to make and shows that they used to make that just large mass audience would like to consume. I don't know a single audience that would like to consume this show. So let me know down below. I hope you liked this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye, guys.